Hi guys, if this is section 1-2, we are going to be talking about order of operations, something you guys have been hearing about for a while, right? A few years. Your challenge will be that these may be a little more difficult expressions. We're going to be looking at algebraic expressions and numerical expressions. These might be a little more challenging than what you've had before. But basically, they're going to be things about like if you're going to SeaWorld and you're going with 4 adults and we're going with 3 children and we know the child price is this and the adult price is this, how can we figure out how much it's going to be for us to go all together? Well, we have 4 adults and we multiply that times that price, and we're going to add that to the 3 children and the price of the children. And then, of course, what are we going to do first? Are we going to add this to 3? No, we're going to multiply first, and then add and get our total. So that's the kind of problem we're going to be working on today. Oops, just kidding. Let's look at this guy. All right. Just to remind you how to evaluate expressions. Oh, did I mention that there are 2 vocabulary words? Let's go back. Yes. 2 vocab, evaluate and order of operations. Both are things you know all about. Just make sure you find those definitions. You record them in your notes so that you have them so you can make sure you know what they mean. All right. To evaluate an expression means to find its value. So if it says evaluate 3 to the 5th, that's asking you to go 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And if you do the math on that, that is actually 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is something, times 3 is 243. I think that's 81, excuse me. All right, 2 to the 4th. 2 to the 4th means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. You'll evaluate that. 7 to the 3rd, in fact, means 7 times 7 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49, times 7 is whatever it is, okay? Easy enough. All right. Order of operations. You'll remember PEMDAS. That might be how you guys like to think of it. P-E-M-D-A, oops, go back, A-S, all right? Parentheses are all different kinds of grouping symbols. They can be parentheses as we normally think of it. They can be a bracket. It can also be a fraction that has numbers on the top and the bottom. All of those are considered grouping symbols. Then the second thing we would do would be evaluate our powers, right? Oops, did I lose my little thingy? Yeah. So evaluate your powers, which are your exponents. And then multiply and divide are of equal value. You just work them from left to right. And so that means, for instance, if you had 12 divided by 4 times 3, you would just work, actually the divide is first because it comes left to right. So you do 12 divided by 4 is 3 times 3 is 9. All right, remember that. And finally, you have add or subtract. And again, you work from left to right. If you had 18 minus 7 plus 5. You don't add these 2 first. You work from left to right. So you go 18 minus 7 is 11, plus 5 is 16. Okay? All right. Let's look and see what this means when we have sort of complicated, longer numerical expressions. Here we have 16 minus 8 divided by 2 to the power of 2 plus 14. So our first step is always to write our problem down on the page. Yes, write the whole problem down on your page so you don't miss anything, okay? Second step, we're going to do, we don't have any grouping symbols, so we don't do those, but we do have powers or exponents. So that's what we're going to do next. Everything else I'm just going to write like it is because I'm not going to do anything with it. 2 to the power of 2, however, though, I'm going to calculate out, which is 4 plus 14. For step 3, I'm going to look, do I have any more exponents? No. Do I have multiply and divide? Yes, I have a divide. So I'm going to do that operation next. What's 8 divided by 4? 2 plus 14. And now I only have add and subtracts left, and I'll work them from left to right. So 16 minus 2 is 14 plus 14. Our answer is 28. You can circle your answer. Let's try another one of those, shall we? Okay. It's written fairly small, but anyway, even on your homework sheet, you would be recopying the problem down. 20 minus 7 plus 8 squared minus 7 times 11. All right, so that was our first step. Our second step is we're going to look, we have an exponent, so we're going to do it first. We have no parentheses. I'm just going to rewrite everything here so far till I get to what I'm going to do first. 8 times 8 is 64 minus 7 times 11. All right, I am done with my exponents. Now I'm going to do my multiplies and divides. Looks like I only have one over at this far end over here. So I'm going to rewrite 20 minus 7 plus 64 minus 7 times 11 is minus 77. Now I'm going to work from left to right because all I have left are adds and subtracts. So 20 minus 7 is 13 plus 64 minus 77. 13 plus 64 is 77 minus 77. Our answer is 0. All right, with grouping symbols, let's see if I can get rid of this guy. We are, remember, we're going to do our parentheses first. So we have 4 divided by 2 plus 5 times 10 minus 6. Okay, so parentheses first. I've written my problem. 4 divided by 2 plus 5. 10 minus 6 is 4. Okay. Now I do my divides and multiplies at the same time. 4 divided by 2 is 2 plus 5 times 4 is 20. So my answer here would be 22. Okay, 6 bracket. Same as a parentheses, 32. And the reason you use a bracket is because if you have a parentheses and a bracket, you can't have 2 parentheses. That would be confusing. So once the outside, the furthest out grouping symbol, they change from a parentheses to a bracket. And that's why it's a bracket instead of parentheses. 32 minus 2 plus 3 squared bracket. Okay, inside parentheses first. Well, we're going to go inside the inside parentheses. So that means we're going to do the 2 plus 3 first. Everything else I'm just going to copy down. 2 plus 3 is 5. I'm going to have to square that in my next step. So I have to work inside the parentheses first. That means I have to do the 5 squared first. So 32 minus what's 5 squared? 25. All right, what's 32 minus 25? I'm going to change this. It is 7. And I'm going to change from the bracket to the parentheses. It really doesn't matter, though. So our answer is 42. All right, remember I said that a fraction bar, like we have right here, is considered a grouping symbol. And the way I like to think about this is 2 to the power of 3 minus 5 over 15 plus 9. So when you get fractions, if you want to go ahead and put your parentheses there, so you think, okay, I need to do this first, we can go ahead and do that. So okay, I hope I had to stop because my headpiece was running out of power, and I'm going to just repeat briefly what I just said because I don't want you guys to miss anything. So if you get a problem like this, go ahead and put your
the numerator and the denominator in parentheses. Go ahead and put them around there so that reminds you that, okay, I'm going to do those first before I divide. So inside that top numerator, in the numerator, we have 2 to the power of 3 minus 5. So we're going to do our exponent first inside the parentheses. And 2 to the power of 3 is 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 minus 5. Then we have 15 plus 9. So 8 minus 5 is 3 over 15 plus 9, which is 14. So our answer is 3 over 14, unless they wanted it in a decimal form, and then of course you would divide that. We'll try another one of those in just a second. Here we go. Here's one up here. We have, we're going to do this problem here. 4 plus 5 squared over 3 times 7 minus 4. All right? So we'll do our numerator first. 4 plus 5 is 9 squared over 3 times 7 minus 4. 9 squared is 81. 7 minus 4 is 3 times 3. That would be 81 over 9. 81 over 9 is, all right, I'm trying to turn my page. There it goes. 81 over 9 is 9. So our answer is 9 for that problem. You'll get the hang of it the more you do it. Just make sure you do each step and write everything down for yourself. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at, well, except for a word problem, is evaluating an algebraic expression, okay? So we have a squared, parentheses, 3b plus 5 divided by c. And we know that a equals 2, b equals 6, and c equals 4. So we'll substitute in the values for the variables and then evaluate the expression. So a squared would be 2 squared, parentheses, 3 times b, which is 6, plus 5, divided by c, which is 4. Now we're ready to start evaluating. We're going to work inside the parentheses first. I'm just going to bring the 2 squared straight down. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 5 divided by 4. Squared, we can go ahead and do that. That's 4. 18 plus 5 is 23 divided by 4. Do you remember that multiplication property is commutative, meaning you can put it into different orders. You can commute it from one place to the other. So I'm going to move that guy over here. 4 divided by 4 times 23. What's 4 divided by 4? 1 times 23. Doesn't that make that a lot easier than having to do 4 times 23 and then divide it by 4? But you could have done that. If you had done 4 times 23 and then divided by 4, you would have come up with the same answer. All right, here's our word problem. Environmental studies. Science on a sphere, SOS, demonstrates the atmospheric storms, climate changes, and ocean temperature on the environment. The volume of the sphere is 4/3 of pi multiplied by the radius r to the third power. Well, that sounds pretty complicated. But let's just think about this just for a minute and see if we can't actually do this. The volume of the sphere is 4/3 of pi multiplied by the radius r to the third power. So 4/3, so the volume is going to equal 4/3 of, which means times, pi, 4/3 pi, multiplied by the radius r to the third power. All right, and here we have a problem that we're going to try and solve. We know that we have a 3-foot radius in the sphere. So let's see if we can't solve it. 4/3 pi times the radius cubed. So the volume of a 3-foot sphere would be 4/3 times pi times the radius, which we know is 3 cubed. Right? R we know equals 3. 3 times 3, 3 to the power of 3, excuse me, is what? 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. Again, remember that multiplication is commutative, so I could go 4 7 here times pi, okay? Doesn't matter which order you multiply in, right? 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. So that's basically what I've done. 4/3 times pi times 27 is the same as 4/3 times 27 times pi. All right. And I can think of that as 27 is 27 over 1. Then I can cross reduce. That's a 1. This is a 9. Now I can just go b equals 4 times 9 is 36. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. So there's our answer. And we'll leave that pi in pi, that answer in pi form. All right. Excuse me. According to the California Department of Forestry, this is going to be our little practice problem. We have an average of 539.2 fires each year. 539.2 fires each year that are caused by burning debris. Then we have campfires that are average 129.1 each year. Write an algebraic expression that represents the number of fires on average in D years of debris burning and C years of campfires burning. Okay, so we have 539.2 average for debris, and we know that's going to be D number of years. Well, we're going to add to that, our campfires are an average 129.1. That'll be the C for their number of years. And we know that, okay, so there's our expression. Now we can figure out how many fires would there be in 5 years. So we'll substitute a 5 into both of those places. 539.2 times 5 years plus 129.1 average campfires times 5 years. Do this calculation, you do this calculation, and you get some answer, right? And you'd add those two together, and you find out how many fires there are on average in 5 years. Here's your guided practice. I want you to start at number 3. You can do 1 and 2 if you want, but I just think you probably just start at 3 and go through 13. There are more in your book, but I've only picked these 10 for you guys to do as your guided practice. So if you go ahead and do those, we'll look at those and put some of them on the board the next time we meet. Thank you, guys.